Say hi, preacher. Preacher, come here, buddy. Come here. Can you sit up here so I can check the camera? Come here, help me out. Check the camera. Knock it off, nerd. There you go, buddy. Come here, preach. There you go. We're working on things, folks. We're working on things, I promise. Stay. Stay right there, buddy. Stay right there, buddy. All right. You ready to let me do the work? Thank you, sir. Don't knock everything over. All right, guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our first... Hang on. Hey, man. You're not allowed to get right there. Hey, here. You can't do that. You can't do that, and you know that. When the ball gets stuck over there, you got to go. I'll have to pick it up later. Come on. Let's go inside. His ball got stuck, so... That's live, whatever this is, television or whatever. Sorry about that. We had a mix-up earlier. Today, I started this by mistake and had to delete the whole thing. Excuse me. And anyway, so we're going to wait just a little bit for a few people to kind of get on here. And I'm going to try to figure all of this stuff out, man. So... Excuse me, I've got, this is new to me. I've never done a live with YouTube. I've done a bunch of them with Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but I've never done one here. So we're going to tap dance our way, and I'm trying to figure out this whole scrolling thing. So that's so cool, man. Thank you, Rick. What's up, everybody? I will... scroll back through here at a later time. Chaz Steiner, what's up, brother? Let's see if I know any of these cats. Backroads No Man, what's up, my man? Thank you much, guys. Let's, while we're waiting, I'll tell you, man, we just got back in this morning. This is a diesel. I think I smoked one of these on here before. Yeah, bourbon barrel aged. It's a good stick. I got in this morning. We were up at Tallgrass Prairie, and I don't really know how to do it live over here. Normally I do this topic when I'm standing up and walking around, and it's hard for me to sit still and talk like this. And I should have elevated that laptop a little bit so I don't look like I'm looking down. But anyway, we got in this morning. We were up at Tallgrass. We're camping at Call Lake. On the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve, and we got in. We didn't get in this morning. Hell, we got in this afternoon. It was quite a while to get back home. So, a little two-step paraphernalia there. So anyway, man, yeah, we were down or up at Call Lake, and we went through the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve, and that episode will drop this Sunday, so look for it. I made one of the best freeze-dried meals. And then I made breakfast the next morning. Breakfast was was pancakes and sausage, but I boozed them up a little bit, and I did a whiskey-infused maple syrup, and I show you how to do all that. Super simple, man. But anyway, let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, numbers keep rolling, man. Awesome. We'll kick off here, like I said, just a little bit. I'm going to get this stick started, and coming down hard after your show, drinking and smoking. Just got to monetize them. Jeremy started. YouTube is coming down on hard after your show, drinking and smoking. Oh, I got you. I don't know what the... Okay. Well, I don't know. They demonetize this, I guess. Y'all don't look. All right. And this is my Kool-Aid. It's a strawberry Kool-Aid, Oklahoma two-step for you. Right there. And this is a Sprite. And this is incense. All right, so let's get started here, guys. Dustin, I see a bunch of my alumni guys over here, man. Nice to have y'all. Okay, so let's get started on this. And I'm not really, I'm gonna move this over here just so I can keep my train of thought. I need to give you guys my resume, my background real fast. And people that have trained with me understand that this is something that we have to do. It's not to impress you. It's not to do a, oh, wow, look at me type thing or anything like that. It's just that I'm going to give you some information. And the information that I'm giving you directly affects the safety of you and those you care about. So that's pretty heavy stuff. And you need to put value on that, or you need to assign a value to that. Does this dude know what the hell he's talking about? I mean, I just was burning myself, 3 episodes ago. So, do I have a standing of competency of the subject matter? And so that's where this resume comes in. Now, I will tell you that the career that I did for 27 years alone does not make me an expert. And I really debated on putting that on the cover photo and the title of this, because I think it's somewhat misleading, because you can do 27 years in any job and not know your rear from a hole in the ground, and definitely not know anything about that job. So I know, because I worked with a bunch of them dudes. So one of the things that the resume does is, again, it just clarifies that. So I spent 27 years in law enforcement. Most of that was, I did a lot of patrol. About half of that was patrol, and then other things meshed into patrol. I was working narcotics for about 50% of that time, which was usually plainclothes, undercover, or working those types of assignments. I also ran a narcotics unit. I spent 5 years on an assignment with a triple letter agency that focuses primarily federally on narcotics enforcement. I spent time on different state assignments and stuff like that. And then I retired out in 2019. I spent the last 2 years of my career with the Oklahoma Attorney General's office. Now, that just means I just went to those jobs and did those things. My area that I worked was kind of one of those things that where you kind of always had to be on guard, because, well, you're a cop, you're always that way. But in narcotics especially, you're plain clothes. And so you have a lot of things where you're sizing and gauging situations up and the people that are in them with you. So I think that lends a different type of relevancy here. The other things is that my specific training was in violence mitigation strategies, I guess you could say. And it's a kind of a churched up way to talk about it. But my career was in training, K-9, and then I was a firearms instructor and all that kind of stuff. Where the job has relevancy, as far as I'm concerned, is I was the subject of multiple violent attacks and encounters, both on the receiving end, of course, and then I was also an agent for taxpayers at times, depending on the situation, to be the delivery mechanism for violence. So, having been involved multiple times with both sides of that coin, I think that it qualifies me to speak in some depth anyway on the topic, and we'll move along from there. So, having said that and given that long filibuster resume, let's talk. And this is going to be a kind of a brief thing here. There's not, I will answer your questions and stuff, and I'm not been able to pay attention to that just yet. Once we get into the meat of this, I'll start scanning that and trying to look better at that. I should probably start by maximizing the screen. Again, I'm not used to doing it in this format. But anyway, let's talk about some things. I'm going to give you the breakdown of kind of the topics I'm going to cover here. And as I go through them, I'll pause and I'll kind of look through your comments and stuff like that. Preacher got in trouble. If you guys are looking for him, he's already inside. He's got his ball pinned up against the AC unit and the storage thing over here. And he knows he's not allowed to do it because he'll beat the hell out of it. But anyway, So I'll go through these topics, and then I'll refer back to the comments as we kind of clear through these. First thing we're talking about mindset and understanding what that means. We're going to talk about situational awareness. Tactical advantage is a term that I want, and I'm referring to my bullets here just because I don't want to miss anything, because I've modified this somewhat from what I normally speak on. Meaning like this, campsite setup and light control. Don't normally give that in my general classes. Tools and training, and then some final thoughts and stuff. And one of the main things is we're going to talk about tools specifically, whether you're talking about OC and the different force options that you have out there. We'll start to cover those later at the end. And then I'm going to and we'll talk about medical briefly and then some of the complexities of that. My credentials, just so you know, I'm a federal firearms instructor. I'm a federal tactical medicine instructor. I'm a federal active threat instructor. I'm a nationally certified low light instructor in multiple disciplines from multiple vendors, basically. And I have multiple national certifications and credentials in active threat mitigation. I own a company called 50 Tactical. That is the premier training company in Oklahoma. We train more students than anybody around here, and we are heavily vested in active threat mitigation strategies. And so that's one of the things that my company does. And I've ran that company since 2016. So again, kind of throwing that in here last minute for you. And I'm going to give you a book title, and I'll put a link in here when I'm done, that I think everybody should read. My wife has read this book multiple times. My daughter has read it multiple times. I have read it multiple times, and it's right here. And I'll show you that at the very end because it's a simple purchase, and it literally could save your life. It's that powerful. Anyway, let's get back into it here. Let's talk about the right mindset. And again, brief conversation here. There's no room for political correctness. If you are worried about being politically correct and not offending somebody, this topic and your safety, right, is probably not for you. You need to really strip that away. Whether you want to call it political correctness or wokeness or whatever, I don't care about the vernacular that we're using these days. It doesn't matter to me. Anything that is something that is a barrier between you and your safety, I think we need to strip away. Now, for women, this means a lot of times women are hesitant to step forward in some of these situations and be assertive because they don't want to come off as being the B word. And you just gotta get rid of that. And you don't have to really work that hard at it because everybody is wired genetically for survival. We're just like whether the dog or these are loose comparisons, so don't take it, don't get biblical on me. But I'm just saying you have a genetic predisposition for survival. It's why your body tells you you're hungry, right? It's why your body tells you you're thirsty. It's why deer walk through the woods, and when they sense something, they stop, and then they make a judgment call: keep walking or bail and flag, right? The deer that keep walking, that's usually when somebody's plating a wall, that type of thing. Whenever you suppress that makeup, and the deer do that, just make bad decisions, but they have that innate, just like you do. When you suppress that, the reason you're suppressing that is social. It's just social pressure. We've been told that, hey, don't make a big deal out of this, don't make a big deal out of that, and that kind of stuff. So that's one of those things that you've got to get out of that. You got to break out of that excuse me, that mold that society has kind of placed us in when it comes to our personal protection. And so that's kind of one of the things that we need to get into. Is understanding that you already have this ability, you just have locked it down and turned it off over time. One of the other things is you need to understand that your event, it will be decided by what you have when it starts. Now, this is more complex than what that seems. It means like, oh, well, I left my tools or my OC or my pepper spray, whatever you want to call it, in the car. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I am to a degree, but it's more comprehensive than that. If you don't bring the proper mindset, if you don't bring the proper understanding of violence wherever you're going and an event pops off, well, you've left something behind, right? So you kind of need to be a very well-rounded person. I don't need you to be John Wick. I just need you to be paying attention. And you need to understand that if you don't have it, you won't have time to go get it. If it's in the car, you can't go back. This applies for your training, your mindset, your gear, and your medical stuff as well, right? So bridging that kind of leads us into this next part where you're your own first responder. And these are just all foundational things that you're going to have to understand before this conversation can even take place. You, excuse me, you do not, you do not have the luxury of relegating your safety to somebody else. When you're in an urban environment, law enforcement is still going to be several minutes away. And again, the old adage is, it's very cliche, but when seconds matter, that kind of stuff, right? And I'm not going there, but I'm just saying, this is compounded by the fact that if you're watching this, you're probably out remotely somewhere. And remote could be as simple as where I'm at, go down to Hakey Creek Park. That's a very public area, but it's just remote enough that it prolongs law enforcement and first responder response times. So these are things that you need to understand. Now let's talk about situational awareness. And again, I'm going to blast through these right here. I'm going to get back. This will be the first one that I go back to. Situational awareness, and that gets said a lot, and I don't think everyone really understands what it is sometimes. And it's very simple. It's just paying attention to your environment and how the things in that environment affect your safety. That's it, plain and simple. It's just paying attention. Paying attention to not your phone, not your conversation, but your environment and what is in that environment that can hurt you, right? That can impact your safety, both positive and negatives, right? So we don't need to just kind of blanket it down in one area. So that's where we're going to start the conversation, and how I want you to approach situational awareness. And I'm sorry, I'm talking like you guys are in one of my classes, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but from a situational awareness stance, it basically goes like this: notice who notices you, right? Like, see who's paying attention to you. So I don't like that shot right there at all. Sorry. Pay attention to who notices you. If you walk into a room and you're going to make eye contact, and you should make eye contact with everybody. If you're sweeping and walking, hi, whatever. And even if you're not, if you're walking into a store at the mall and you walk in, you should be head up, looking around, not at where you're headed initially, but as you walk in. And that's a transitional space we'll speak about here in just a minute. But as you walk into these different areas, head up, make an eye contact. You want to see who's looking back at you. Right? Because you want to make a mental note of that, because if they're still looking at you, again, when you kind of do a secondary scan a little bit later, there might be something there. Now, it could be you're just a super attractive fella, right? And if you're a fireman, you're probably wearing your whatever, unit, whatever shirt is in blue ones that you guys don't seem to be able to leave the house without. So they're probably looking at that and being, wow, what a douche. No, they're probably looking like, look at that hero. But so it could be different things like that. You have to start weeding these out. Things that blip outside the norm are outside the norm for a reason. We don't get to disregard those things, right? So noticing who notices you. Now, this gets tricky because it's different between genders. If you're a man and you're noticing that, so you walk in and you're making that eye contact and you peek that dude and he's staring at you. If you hold that stare, if you hold that gaze too long, right, it's one of two things. You're either a fireman or it can be very confrontational, right? It can be like, what the hell are you looking at, bro? That kind of thing. Now, it's completely opposite with women, because if a woman holds a gaze like that and makes eye contact with a man and they hold it too long, I'm not saying this is right, wrong, or other. I'm just saying it's a fact that it can be, and oftentimes is perceived, especially by those types of people, as flirtatious. And it opens up in its own set of issues. So just understand that when you're doing that, it's not a prolonged thing. It's just, hey, man, I see you. And then you're moving on. Whenever it comes back again and you're working the room again and you happen to look up and that same set of eyes is looking at you, then you might want to understand that a little bit more. And what we're doing from there is we're looking at that person from top to bottom at that point, just kind of seeing if they are a threat. And that's what we're doing. We're assessing that threat at that time. How do you assess a threat? I want to take first look at the hands, right? Whenever I'm coming in, and again, if I'm walking into a room where it's not, I'm not expecting something like that. I mean, I'm not trying to get you to be a cop or anything like that. But when I first walk into a room, I mean, it depends on the climate and what I'm doing in there. The climate of the room, not temp-wise. But I want to look at hands first, right? If I've got, let's take it trail specific. If I'm on a trail and I got somebody that's walking towards me, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a complete assessment of this individual. The first thing I'm going to look at is I want to see hands. If I see a body walking through the woods, first thing I need to do is I need to see their hands, because hands will kill you. Hands are the tools that hold the tools, right? And they are the tools at times. So I want to see their hands first. From that, I'm going to go straight to their eyes, and I'm going to assess an overall demeanor of kind of what they look like and how they're acting in that moment. This is, in another class I teach for tactics and movement and stuff, we're talking about, and I don't know who the hell's hot rodding out here, but God, get it on, dude. Burn the rubber. Jesus. is color contrast and movement. And that's just a kind of thing that you're looking for differences, things that are outside the norm. But if you walk down the trail and you look up and you see movement and you see some hands and you look at the guy or the girl and they're wearing a trench coat and a parka and gloves and a ski mask and it's 110 in August in Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff, by the way, doesn't have to just pertain to the trail. It doesn't. You can take every bit of this damn information and transfer it into your daily life at Walmart or the pharmacy that you go to. It just is, man. So if I look up at the same deal, if I walk into Walmart and it's summertime and I got a guy wearing a freaking parka and a hoodie or something like that, I'm going to look a little closer at that cat and maybe go a different direction, right? So those are things that you need to look at. So if you're on trail, Dave, is that you that have been hot rodding? No, that's a motorcycle. I'm gonna let my buddy Dave pass by here. That's how it goes, man. I dropped ash on my paper. Quit revving it up, Dave. Shit. I don't know how cursing works on live events. Sorry. Anyway, so when you are looking at this, if you're on the trail, again, if it looks out of the norm, then it's out of the norm for a reason. So just pay a little closer attention to that kind of stuff. If it doesn't match the environment, then there's a reason for that. Maybe they just don't know how to dress, but there's usually something amiss. And that's one of the first things we teach baby cops. If you're driving around on patrol and you see something that's out of the norm, it warrants closer inspection. And that's all I'm saying. Just be paying attention. Notice who notices you and understand the things that are in your environment that can hurt you. Okay, so let me scroll through here just a second. You can pick a victim out in seconds. That's yeah. Wickedness. You're smart bitches. Holy crap, wickedness. Okay, I don't know what the hell that is, but so all right, we'll just move right along, man. I'll skim back through here, and if I get some questions, I'll try to tag them up, man. So let's go into a term that I need you to understand moving forward. And that term is tactical advantage. Tactical advantage is you've done it and you just don't realize it because most people just don't kind of speak like that. And you've probably, if you've ever been stopped by a police officer, then you have been placed in a position of disadvantage tactically. And so what tactical advantage is just that. It's taking the advantage over somebody else, tactically speaking, right? So if I stopped you, if I was on the job still and I stopped you and I say, hey, step out of the vehicle. If I have you step out of the vehicle, hopefully I'm doing that to put you in some place that's advantageous for me. So tactical advantage would be, hey, stay in your car. Let me put my lights and spotlight flood your interior so you can't see, and then I can navigate a little bit more stealthily. It could also be, I need you to take your hands out of your pockets. And that's a double-edged sword there, by the way, but if you're a cop, you know that. It could be, hey, stand over here. And that's where we start relating to our world now, right? Stand over here, or, hey, stop. I don't know you, right? And what we're getting at now is we're taking tactical advantage, and that is just simply not allowing someone to have that over us. If I have a tactical advantage over you, then it means like I have the advantage to, it's like a better offense, right? And I'm trying to put this in layman's terms and not over-copify this whole conversation. But it's basically taking the higher ground, right? Higher ground is usually the better position, tactically speaking. So for most of us, it would be if you see somebody walking into your camp, right? You don't want them to get too close, right? You want to keep that what we call reactionary gap. I'm not going to go down that road, but you want people to be as far away from you as possible should a violent event happen, because then they have to traverse or cross or close that distance to become violent with you, unless, of course, firearms are at play. And even then, that's muy beneficial, right? So that's kind of what that tactical advantage is. So if you got somebody that's walking into your camp, something as simple as saying, hey, stop. Do I know you? And kind of making that challenge. And what you're doing with that is you're setting a boundary. And so that's kind of where you want to go with this, is setting boundaries as, hey, I need you to stop right there. Don't allow people into your personal space. And that's going to be different for everybody. But when you get into setting boundaries, that's one of those things that it's easy to sit there and say, well, I'm not going to let somebody walk into my camp, or I'm not going to let somebody get that close to me. Will you? And how willing are you to do that? Because that process is, we're going to ask them to stop. We're going to tell them, right? We're going to ask them, then we're going to demand them or tell them to stop. and then we got to make them stop. So you can back yourself into a corner there. And you see a lot of cops do that, unfortunately, on some of the badge cam stuff or the dash cam and all that different crap they got now. But you need to understand that. So you need to be willing to set those boundaries, and you have to be willing to enforce those boundaries. Now, listen, enforcing those boundaries is sometimes as simple as, I don't need to do this. I'm going to pack up and I'm going to get the hell out of here. Every time you avoid a violent encounter, you win the violent encounter. I mean, that's very cliche, but it's also very true, and that's why it's a cliche, right? One of those things that it's a simple term, but you need to understand it. And the reason you need to understand it is because if someone fails to surrender tactical advantage, if I was a police officer and I said, hey, keep your hands out of your pocket, and then they keep putting their hands in their pocket, why? Why, right? That's the baseline. Everybody, I'm saying, hey, stop doing that, and everybody complies, and then this guy doesn't, right? So he's outside the norm. Why is he outside the norm? What's going on in that pocket, right? Dope or gun, well, it doesn't matter. In our situation, it could be, again, I want you to stay there. Don't come back over here, whatever, and don't come near me. Well, if someone hears that in any realm, especially 2025, if I hear a female especially, or a man, doesn't matter to me, hey man, don't come over here. Hell, dude, everybody in Oklahoma has a piece on them. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to come over there. But if somebody proceeds on and they deny you that advantage, why? Why are they taking that away from you? And that's when your radar and your red flags really need to start alarming and sounding off, because there's a reason they're not giving you that advantage, right? So that's kind of those types of things. So let's apply that. And let me touch on this real fast. De-escalation. It's a buzzword. It's been around for a few years, hot and heavy here lately. Lately being since about 2016, so I don't know how lately that is. But de-escalation sounds really cool, and it's great when it works, but it is a two-party system. What I mean by that is both people have to agree to de-escalate the situation. And that's sometimes rare, if not ever possible, if they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol or just being a peckerhead. So just understand you can de-escalate if you want, and you can try, and that's always the first avenue that we should, after avoidance, then we go to de-escalation. But if the event's already taken off, you're not going to de-escalate it. So let's take some of that and apply it to trail safety. So let's take our situational awareness and all those things that we just spoke about, and let's apply them to a hiking trail. Say we're on a hiking trail and I've got somebody behind me. Now, I don't like to film and hold up trails and stuff like that. It's always a pain. So I do this anyway just to let people pass. But it's also because I do not like people behind me. Make your own joke. So what I will do is I will step to the side of the trail, and I don't care if I hear them coming, I'll pause so I can look at them so they're not right up on me. If they're right up on me, this is usually too late. So just kind of be aware, right? Be aware of what's going on front, behind, left, and right of you. And so as soon as I hear somebody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and I'm going to make an assessment, whether I want to keep going with them behind me or if I want to do a hard pause and let them pass. So I will pull a ruse, man. I'll either stop and grab some water. With Preacher, it's super easy because I can sit down and act like he needs to either be fed or messed with or something like that, check his paw. And then I get a good glimpse of who's coming. And then I make that determination. And a lot of times I'll just hold up and let them go. If it's a solo person, and I'm just going to tell you right now, man, I don't care if it's a solo female or a solo male, I will treat them the same. Violence, as far as how it is impacted, and I've been assaulted by every color under the sun and every religion and race, and it doesn't even matter. So I from an age, man, doesn't matter either. So if I'm in that position, I will hold and I'll just let them pass, man, especially if they're a single party on the trail. Just is what it is, man. That's just me. So those little things like that are a good way. And again, so what we're doing is we're taking tactical advantage, right? We're going to go back to that. If I pause off the trail and I allow these people to pass, or this person to pass, now I'm flanking. I'm coming up from the rear there. And so that gives me that element of surprise. They can't see me, right? And that's what I didn't like about that first situation. If they refuse to do that, why? Why? Again, a refusal to give you tactical advantage is a retainment of that, right? They want to keep a hold of that. Why do they need that out there? And again, they could be fearful of you and stuff like that. So you need to understand that this is a two-way street. And so as you're watching out for other people are watching out for you. But you can usually tell very quickly if that's the case. Good recognizes good sometimes. So that's kind of trail safety. And guys, that's the same if you're wheeling, if you're overlanding and you're out, and you know how that goes, man. Side by sides, or they don't like four wheelers, and ATV guys don't like side by sides. No one likes anybody anymore. Just avoid that crap if you can. Get away from it. And if you if that kind of stuff, I don't never really get into that because everybody's on a mobile. So just get in your damn mobile and head out. Whatever you drove there, get the hell out of the place. But that's just me. Let's talk about campsite and light control whenever you're going to camp. One of the things that I'm going to tell you right now seems kind of weird, but I do it every time I go. And it's kind of I don't know how many people do this, but I've been doing it since I was a cop for a long time because it was a way to check meat locations. Before I decided I'm going to camp in a park, the first thing I do is I go to their bathrooms, and I just look around for drug use. I look around specifically for IV drug use. I look for the orange little syringe caps, or just the needles themselves, but a lot of times the orange caps. I will look for baggies and stuff like that, where those are going to be around the toilet. And then you need to look in the sinks, on the sinks themselves, and then in the trash. And if you don't want to do that, then you need to probably tune out, because that's just a basic thing, man. Also, you want to know if the bathrooms are crap. You don't want to probably stay there, depending on, I don't ever use them, but that's your thing if it is. But what that tells you, and not just there, we want to move on and we want to check the trash. So I want to go to a campsite, one that I may be looking at, or two or three really. And I'm going to look around there, and I'm going to look in the fire pit. I'm looking at the fire ring if they have one, and I'm going to look for the same thing. Any signs of whether it's whatever you think is a bad thing. If you don't like roaches or shit like that, excuse me, man, I'm trying hard not to do that. Then that rules it out for you, right? But again, if it's an IV drug thing, meth, that kind of stuff, so you're just checking for those types of things. Those tell you a lot, and what they tell you is that there's not a police presence in that location, at least not a very good one, and that park doesn't take its sanitation very seriously, and that it also is a known facility for people that do that kind of stuff. So if it's known and frequented by the bad guys, and that's because the good guys aren't there, then that's what you're opening yourself up to. And I've never felt bad about pulling into a camp spot or a camp ground, seeing those things and leaving, man. What is it? What are you risking? I have to drive another, and I've driven home. I've had places where I'm like, well, hell, there ain't no place to camp, and I'll go stealth camp in a parking lot before I'll do that. That's what my life matters and means to me and my family. And I hope that yours means as much to you and yours as that, because that's silly. Just do the basics, man. That's all we're talking about. Another thing on campsite selection is, and this is harder to do at times, but you want to kind of understand what we call stacking your threats. And I'm not going to get bogged down again in that, but you just want to take and have a good, easy feeling about what's maybe behind you. You want to keep all those threats and those danger areas kind of in front of you. So when I camp, a lot of times I'm in maybe a corner, but I'm not locked in. And that's because you need to have a way, when you pull into your camp, you need to have a way to get out of there as well. So you need to have a back door at your camp. And so those types of things, right? Just making sure that you're not blocked in, or and this is harder for RV folks, that you get your stuff all set up and it's like, well, hell, I'm so plugged in, it'd take me an hour to be mobile. And if that's the case, and it is a lot of times, then you need to understand the layout of where you're at. Is there a place that you can kind of get to that provides some maybe cover or concealment for you if things go bad, and understand where the back of your campsite leads. So in case you do have to make that out, you know how to either get back to a highway or a safe place, whether that's another campsite or a payphone. Geez, ain't nobody been looking for hell, there ain't even a payphone out there. God, go ahead and signify the old man right now. Or you need to get to some place where somebody has a phone or you can get reception. So just understand those types of things whenever you're setting up your camp. So one of the other things that I would probably tell you to look for is ambient lighting. And a lot of people don't like that if they have like a security light. And you don't need to camp under a security light, but you need to understand how ambient lighting works, especially if you're a truck camper like I am. I don't need to black out a lot of stuff. You need to understand how light works because it will allow you to have that tactical advantage that I was speaking of earlier. So ambient lighting is just basically lighting that's in your surroundings and your environment that is just there. So sometimes it's headlights that are or street lights that are on, or the moon or the stars, that kind of crap. you can use that to your advantage. Now, when we're camping, just create your own, man. The easiest way to do this is just to buy solar powered motion lights. I have a video up there. It was one of the first videos I did, so it sucks. But I bought some stuff off Amazon, and I set those up depending on where I'm at. But I put those around my house. I put them around my fence. Some of you guys have seen some of the stuff around the house here. I've got a wrought iron fence that goes around my property, and I have those lights established out there. Now, you can set those up in your camp spot, and it's like, well, Jesus, dude, is it overkill? You know what I set them up for? I'm not that concerned. I mean, it's obviously a concern. I'm not that preoccupied with it about the two-legged varieties. I set that up so I can get the damn raccoons that come in and tear my campground up. So I set those up at certain things, and usually they'll pop on, and what they do is they're an alarm system for me, and they're a light switch for a cockroach. And you need to think of bad guys as cockroaches, because bad guys and cockroaches share a lot in common. But primarily they both like to operate under the cover of darkness. When you remove the darkness, it makes it very difficult for them to do what they'd like to do. So that's one of those things that exterior illumination can do for you. You can literally buy enough lights for your entire campsite for like $35. I'll throw some links up here later on whenever I get done with this and stuff. So those are things that you can do. Now, do I set those up every time? No, because of that ambient lighting, that lighting that's already there kind of works for me. Just kind of understand that if you have a light on in your truck camper, it doesn't make a difference. Your house at home, if you have lights on inside and lights aren't outside, right, to a equal or greater degree, everybody's seeing you're living in a fishbowl. That's just the way it works. So that's why I like that ambient lighting, because it reflects off glass structures that I sleep in, and it makes it difficult for people to kind of see me. So anyway, another thing, you need to have a flashlight. You need to have a really good flashlight. I'm not going to break and go get them. You need to understand the difference between a tactical flashlight and an admin flashlight. An admin flashlight, I don't have my keys out here. That's a flashlight that's on your keychain, usually under 100 lumens, and it's like what you find crap that you drop in your car with. A tactical flashlight is whenever you push and you can like work through it. It has like high, low, and all these other things. A tactical flashlight is you grab it, you press the on switch, and you have the damn sun in your hand. At the house, I use I think it's a 3000 lumen one. It's a Streamlight rechargeable. I'll put a link down below. And then I use my work light, my main tack light is a Mod Light PHL V2 head, if you're one of those guys, and I run the 1860. It doesn't matter. I'll put a link below. But anyway, that's my searchlight. If I was kicking doors and stuff, still that's what I'd be running as I went through there. So understand the flashlights. When you get a bump in the night or a bump outside your camp, you want to grab that flashlight, that tack flashlight. You don't want to sit there and try to shine a light on somebody and have not enough lumens or candela and all that stuff. And I can nerd out on that. If you guys ever want to hear anything like that, just let me know, and I'll be more than glad to speak on it. I teach a class on it, but hell, I'll just tell you all about it here. But that's one of those things. And the reason flashlights are important is because I know not everybody is a firearm person. I respect that. And you can do a lot of control with a flashlight. And I show people that in classes all the time. So don't overlook that. Let's see if we're here. All right. I think we got it back, guys. I don't know what happened, man. Let me know. I'll pause for a second. Sorry, guys. That's why everybody dumped off. Hey, somebody comment how long that was back or that was off. Hell, I wasn't even on it. Hey, somebody let me know how long ago that dropped off. For about a minute max. Okay. Maybe 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, 10 seconds or so. Man, y'all, that's why men aren't allowed to measure stuff at all. All right. Dropped and froze where you're talking about the Mod Light. All right. So flashlights, Mod Light. How do you hold? I saw one of the things. Flashlights, yeah. So just understand you have to have a tactical light and an admin light. And anytime we're out here, we need to have a tactical light. When you activate that, you want to be able to control that individual. And I use Mod Lights. Those are my door kicking lights. And so that's where I went with that. So As far as like how to hold a tool with that flashlight, that's a whole process, and it's not, I can't do that in here. It just takes too much. But so understanding the flashlight. So let's talk about the tools themselves, and we'll try to get close to, my goal for this was about 45 minutes, and we may be close. Let's talk about tools and training. So less lethal. Less lethal is something that you need to have less lethal. I carry, we call OC spray, OC, oleoresin capsicum. It's pepper spray, right? That's what it is when you hear somebody say OC spray. Now, I carry pepper spray, and I'll talk about what I carry, but completely here later on. But I do carry OC spray. I carry it every day. I carry it on my person. I carry some in the car, and I have some OC stuff that it doesn't matter what I have in the truck. Don't worry about it. But I carry that stuff, and I highly suggest that you do too. Now, understand this: OC or pepper spray is not the same. They're not all made the same. I recommend, and I use, and we train folks to use a certain style. And so those are like Sabre. The best that I have for a citizen recommendation would be POM, P-O-M. I'll put a link below. And you guys give me just a little bit because I've been going nonstop. So I don't know how much I'll be able to jump off here and just go right in and do. But I'll put links up and then jump over to our Facebook, and I'll put a link post for all of these things over there so you can do one-stop shopping. And I hope that this isn't somebody telling me that it just went out again. Okay. All right. I don't know if that's okay. Whatever. Are we still on, guys? Somebody comment just to make sure. I got a text message, and I think it may be okay. Mike Pierce, you're late. You're sending bad information. That's Mike Pierce. For the guys that know, that's my my lead assistant instructor dicking this whole thing up right here for us. So everybody boo Mike whenever he comes on here. So a pepper spray, POM, I'll put that down here. And then the other ones that we use now. Understand that pepper spray is good, but it's not 100%. You need to know that environmental factors. If it's a windy day, you need to probably not use that stuff. Cross-contamination is a big thing. If people are drunk and drugged, and then some people just like spicy stuff, you could probably spray that on Crazy Quady or where as much hot pepper crap as that dude eats, and he just probably like want more or seconds, you know. So just understand that. Stay away from foam and stream. You want a fog or a mist type thing and delivery system. Streams and foams and all that, they're all gimmicks. Don't get anything that's rolled into half CS and half whatever mace and all that. Just get OC pepper spray. But understand it has its limitations. The other stuff that you need to understand is like less lethal. If you bring less lethal and the violence turns lethal, and all you have is less lethal, then you are ill-equipped for that event. I think that just kind of goes without saying. I'm not telling you that you need to have a lethal option. That's for you to decide. But just understand that in a lethal encounter, without a lethal option, force option, is problematic for most people, unless you're like, again, John Wick or something. And that goes into, let's talk about BJJ and all that kind of stuff, martial arts. Great, not a big deal as a practitioner for most of my life. And so I get it, and I think that it's great if you can do that and you can train to proficiency with that, but that's the key, is train to proficiency, and most people just aren't. They're not going to dedicate that level of commitment to that, and it's the same whether you choose a firearm. Understand that. People just buy that. You can go buy a firearm, or you can go buy a class, and I don't know who the hell that is, but you can buy a class or take a class and for defensive stuff, and neither one of those is going to make you safe unless you dedicate and commit to the act or the art itself. So you need to train with that discipline, and most people just aren't. And there's a process, right? You got to get that degree, so to speak. So you're not going to go sign up for some Brazilian jiu-jitsu class and then get a black belt or a blue belt or anything the next week. So you have to understand that. The same is quick rip seminars. Now, we do some stuff where we do some self-defense stuff, and it's very, very regulated as to what we teach. But by and large, about 95% of those where you show up for a 2-hour seminar and they're going to teach you some Navy SEAL crap, you're not going to remember a 17-step move when someone's trying to kill you. You're just not. You're just not. I've been in the situation, guys, and I'm telling you right now, whenever that happens, you kind of revert back. And when in the business, we always say you revert back to your training and kind of your DNA, if you will, and you just kind of got to get violent with folks. But you just kind of got to have that. And if you have to recall like all these different moves, that's why we stripped down, when I was in training, we stripped down what our defensive tactics guys were teaching because they just overload, just too much crap, man. Just get basics with it. So that's it. Just stay away from those quick rip seminars though. And understand this, if you are UFC has weight divisions for a reason. Don't buy into somebody that tells you that they're going to teach you a move or something like that, and you're going to be able to handle a 270-pound cat, right? It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So you can do other things to help mitigate that and kind of level that playing field, but those go kind of into different avenues, and you need to understand those, and they're gear related, right? If you have pepper spray, that may level the field a bit and stuff like that. So let's talk about electronic devices. Stun guns. If you can buy it at the fair, probably not a good defensive option. Just going to say that. I see more of a rifle guy. Well, that's cool and everything, and I kind of share those opinions, man. But you don't walk through the woods like that on a hike. You don't backpack 12 miles with one necessarily, unless you're hunting or something, and you damn sure don't carry one through Walgreens. And Walgreens and pharmacies are one of the most violent places you're going to go. So, I mean, I share the sentiment and I understand it, but yeah, I mean, we got to kind of speak in context here, guys. So that kind of gets us to the thing that everybody usually wants to talk about, and that's the firearms. I have carried professionally since I was 21 years of age. And I have only not carried a couple instances in that stretch while traveling. And my students and alumni, they know those stories. But I carry everywhere. Everywhere means everywhere. That is my choice. If you are going to do that, understand this. That skill set, the proficiency with that specific tool, it is not an osmosis type thing. So let me explain. I grew up in a house, say, that has a piano. I can't play chopsticks, right? That piano and its presence did not do anything to help me learn how to play the damn piano. You can grow up in a house that has firearms, and it's just like that damn piano. They're inanimate objects. Until you put the time in with either one, you're not going to be proficient with it. So don't give me this that, oh, well, I grew up with guns. Well, big damn deal, man. What have you done for me lately, right? What have you taken? Are you proficient? Can you hit what you're aiming at? And that's the biggest thing. If you're going to take and buy one of those, you need to understand it's not the shooting part. That's the easy part. You need to understand it's the when. When do you have to? People ask me all the time, like, hey, man, when do I get to shoot? Or do I get to shoot in this situation? And I'm like, well, you've obviously never put violence into somebody, or you wouldn't phrase it that way. And that's fine, because you don't know what you don't know. But people that have been in violent encounters and done those types of things, they're not quick to want to jump back in and do that again. We just know what the consequences are. So the question is, when do you have to, and at what point, and do you understand the legalities of that? And those are different from state to state. So you need to find a competent instructor and stuff like that. And that's all I'm saying. If you can find a place like that, and there's plenty of folks out there that do really good stuff in every state. So just find one, train, and become proficient if you choose to do that. If you don't, no issues. I'm not here to promote one way or the other, man. I don't care. I just want you to take and be safe. And again, understand that every violent encounter that you avoid through these other means and measures is one that you don't have to encounter. And guys, every violent encounter takes something. If you survive it, it takes a part of you. You leave a little bit there. So let's talk about medical real fast. And the only thing I'm going to tell you about medical is super, super lengthy because people get caught up. I could do a whole another live event on that because people get caught up and they think that it's backcountry Band-Aid applications and stuff like that, or off-grid type stuff. And those are all things that you need to know. And I'm not throwing shade on that at all. I think that's a good class, and a lot of people teach that. I think more of trauma, things that are going to get you killed. Whenever you're running a winch and the cable snaps and you lacerate an artery coming off, a brachial artery, or you trip and fall out there working a chainsaw trying to clear a trail, and that chainsaw bucks, and then you lacerate one of your arteries out of your femoral. So those types of things are what I think of. And you guys have seen, probably if you pay attention, I usually see me moving it. I carry a full medical kit when I'm out, and I shot a video on it and it sucked and I didn't post it, and I need to do it again. But and then I also carry an IFAK. So just think IFAK, individual first aid kit. Don't think first aid the way that you've always thought. All I need you to do is understand how to stop blood loss. That's it. Stop the bleed. So you're gonna need a tourniquet. Everybody needs to have a tourniquet, hands down. I have videos on my 5.0 Tactical YouTube page on how to put tourniquets on, and I actually had to make an improvised tourniquet too. You need a tourniquet. You need to understand blood loss. So you need to understand chest seals, like a sucking or a puncture to your chest, something that we would fall on a trail and have a rock or a stick or something like that impact us. Those things will save your life. You're not making it out of there without those types of items. You need to understand how to pack a wound and when to pack a wound and those junctions and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not trying to throw all this out and get off into the minutia. I'm just explaining why this is kind of super nuanced. But you also need to understand airway. So blood stop and chest seals and airway management and stuff like that, wound packing. Those things are out there. That is common medical knowledge. You don't need someone like me or somebody else to put their spin on it. Now, instructors are just vessels to get information in a more digestible format at times, right? So you can find that information out there. Find a good place that's teaching, and then go learn from that kind of stuff. But medical is its own beast, man. And guys, that's kind of a super high speed, not high speed, but super fast. We got that done in 51 minutes. Let me roll back through here and see. Knives are a great last line close-up option. Don't forget for the after. Target option. No one was typing. I've been stabbed twice, and I'm not a fan. The thing with knives, a lot of ladies want to get knives, and I'm going to tell you right now, there are two things. You guys have seen me carry a Smith & Wesson 642. I will tell you, 5-shot snubbies. Argue with me if you want. You'd be wrong. They're an expert's gun. If you're not going to put the time in, most people can't shoot them for a damn. So that's an expert's tool. So I don't recommend them at all. Knives, again, knives are extremely personal. They're extremely personal and extremely violent, and I do not recommend them as someone's first line of defense. That's for sure. Refugee medical, refugee medical, good stuff, good people for sure. I like that you know that. I carry tourniquets. I trained for and carry a full trauma. Yep. Refugee medical. Let me scroll back up here, guys. If you have any questions that I might have missed, re-ask them, because I'll try to scroll through here and see. Central Arkansas. What's up, Mr. Suarez? Or is it Lewis? I think it says Lewis. Bill Carr, we're lagging. That's what happens, guys. So A class. I've taken most of yours. That's why I carry my sword. Austin Lopez. Generally know. I have a TQ. Guys, Austin Lopez is one of my new instructors. We just brought him on. He's one of our adjuncts and stuff like that. If you guys have, you've gotten 5 super chats. Dang, man, right on. I've never done one of these lives, dude. And like I said, it's just different. And I think I was saying something about that. I don't know if it cut out, but those super chats for you guys, send that stuff. It's just, I'm super appreciative. And like I said, I don't know if you guys caught it, but all that stuff, I just go buy Preacher toys and he tears them up. So let's wrap this one up then, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I have it was about 3 years. I did incoming freshman seminars at the University of Tulsa. I did a lecture series at Chapman hall up there. And fillet knife is deadly. No, no, yeah, fillet knife will do just that. I always recommended this book up there. Again, I've read it multiple times. I use and teach from it as far as illustrations that come from this book. I can't recommend it enough. Welcome from Arizona, man. I've been stabbed twice, not a fan. Oh, I thought you were saying that. I was like, yeah, I'm not either, dude. I thought we were kindred spirits. Guys, buy this book. I no joke, bought this copy, and I have loaned this out so many times. It's tattered. I bought this book. It's Gavin DeBecker's Gift of Fear. I cannot recommend this enough. I bought this for like 97 cents used on, I think, Amazon. It is the best book. People ask me all the time, hey, my daughter's heading off to college, or my son, usually it's their daughter. You guys start asking about your sons too, by the way. Stop acting like this stuff only happens to girls. Guys have their own set of circumstances and issues, so stop separating them. Violence doesn't give a damn. But anyway, getting preachy. This book, I've given it to people, and it should be required reading as you have a student that comes in. My daughter first read it, I think, when she was between 12 and 13. Maturity level, let you guys decide that. But that is something that I think everybody really, really should take a look at and read. And again, loan those copies out. And if you are, well, I can't say that, but anyway, let's see. Thank you so much. Hey, man, listen, guys, I'm glad that you guys are finding value in this. I hope that you can watch this, and folks that maybe didn't catch this live can watch it later on. Y'all share this. I'm not worried about, I don't even know if I turned them on. I know that I didn't, because I wouldn't want them running ads through it. They probably have them on and off now once you watch it in playback, but I didn't want them bumping ads while I was trying to do this, so I turned that off. But share this with people that, again, I'm not trying to make coin off of it, but I also don't like people, and I saw this after some of the stuff that happened in Arkansas. I saw some guys for pay classes, and that's just in bad form. I teach active threat mitigation multiple times, and I always pull those off my website whenever an event happens, because I don't want to look like a vulture. That's why I kind of waited a little longer for this following the Devil's Den homicide. So anyway, the Gift of Fear is amazing. Yeah, Donovan. Guys, Donovan Paget, you see Donovan on here. Donovan is one of my assistant instructors. He's one of my competitive shooters. You see Ahmad Nadef right here. Ahmad is, he's a little short guy, but he's one of the best Americans I've ever met. I'm going to go get the little boy out there. If I can, actually, maybe I'll call my wife and see if she'll send Preacher out. I doubt she's watching this. Here. I'm glad you guys found value in it, man. Oh, here she goes. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Everybody misses you. Let's put this stogie down. Let's put this over here. Come here, my man. Come here. Come up here. Get up here. Come on. You can do it. Don't nut crunch. Come on. Hey, come here. Hey, right here. That's my boy. That's a good dude. Hey, guys, we just got back. We were up at the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve, and he loves bison. Oh, that was a nut. I'm sorry. That was anyway. All right, guys. Say hi, everybody. All right, get down. Nope. You're gonna knock everything over. Like my cigar, guys. We're gonna call that. I will hush. I will check through here and get the comments and stuff and get these replied to. Give me a couple days, because I'm tired and I have an episode to edit. Until I see y'all again, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and all that stuff that you guys do, and all the support you give us. We've got good things coming, and we're going to open up your ability to have a community chat on the YouTube channel here, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned, and until that happens, you know the drill, y'all. Put some gravel in your travel. Yeah, let's end it.